girls! So welcome back to Favorite Friday. For the first case for this week, we are going back to California. Specifically, we are going to San Bernardino for an attack that happened back in 2015. Now, this case isn't as much talked about because, of course, normally when you think of mass attacks, you think of Columbine, Sandy Hook. There's probably a couple others that you think of, but those are the ones that you hear about a lot. And so you definitely don't hear about the ones that happen like a female's like the perpetrator. So then, of course, while this case is technically a mass shooting, because more than 3 people did sadly lose their lives from this, it's not as much talked about, but I feel like it should be talked about due to the motive and, of course, the victims that sadly lost their lives. So with that being said, I'm going to quit my rambling, and let's get started. So we're going to start with Tashfeen, and Tashfeen Malik apparently was born on June 13th, 1986, in Multan, Pakistan. And apparently when she's like 4, she moves to Saudi Arabia. And then at some point when she's older, doesn't give exact age, apparently she would like move back between the two countries. So I like to believe she moved back to Pakistan at one point. Because it says that she was in Pakistan in like 2007. And this was up until 2012 where she would start to pursue her college education at Bahun Zakari University. And apparently while she's doing this, she's telling the women in her family and apparently the women in the local area to apparently be like good Muslim women. And apparently she was even participating in Muslim religion activities. And then apparently at night it is said that she would talk to someone like in Arabic. So it didn't say like whether it was like the computer or like on the phone, like verbally talk to him. But apparently like none of the family ever spoke about it. But apparently it was mentioned. So I guess I thought that was important. And so she would wind up meeting her husband, Saded Farouk, on apparently a dating app. And apparently it's spelled IMILAP.com. I went to it. It's a real site. And apparently that's where you go like find like your husband, your wife. Because you know the Muslims, they take that shit very seriously. Syed was born on June 14th, 1987 in Chicago, so he is a U.S. citizen. However, his parents are apparently immigrants from Pakistan. So he eventually graduates La Sierra High School, I think that's how you say it, and then he goes on to Cal State San Bernardino, where the story takes place. He gets an environmental degree, then he starts working with the San Bernardino County of Public Health, which is where the story sadly takes place. So it doesn't say when exactly they had started talking, but it says it's believed they met for the first time in person in the fall of 2013. Tashfeen would apparently come back with Syed, and apparently she was allowed into the United States because she wasn't a U.S. citizen. Because apparently he applied for like a temporary visa for her until they got married. So then, of course, for a visa, you gotta have like a in-person interview and a background check. They wind up getting approved, and they get officially married apparently at Mecca, which is like a pretty big deal for their culture. And then apparently in like July of 2014 they had their second ceremony in California. And after they get married, Tashfeen apparently starts making concerning posts that were concerning to her family. And despite this, because you're supposed to do a background check before you get approved to like a foreign country, she apparently applied in September 2014 and got approved in July of 2015. And then in May of that year, so like 2 months before she even got approved, her and Syed had a daughter together. Before the daughter's born, also you have a baby shower before the baby's born. His coworkers were actually very nice enough. They actually threw a baby shower for him and Tashfeen, whereas Syed would apparently say that they had made fun of him for like his beard and his culture. Now how true that actually is, I only saw that in like one source, so I'm gonna say allegedly, and there's no like evidence, and there's nobody that came out and said yeah they did make fun of him for it, so that's why I'm saying allegedly. So in November 2015, Syed apparently would stop going to like this Islamic Riverside, where apparently he would go to like pray every day, because they gotta pray 5 times a day, and apparently like he would stop going every day to pray, so also that's like a big deal. And then on the fateful day of December 2nd, 2015, him and Tashfeen, they headed out of the house like early in the morning, claiming they got an appointment they gotta go to, and then Syed's mother, Rafia, apparently she's babysitting the child that they have. Because remember I said they had a daughter. So then, of course, the two go into their SUV that they're apparently renting, and they would go into the Inland Regional Center. So this is like I said, this is where Syed works. So he went inside while Tashfeen stayed in the SUV. He had a bag that apparently had like a bomb in it, And, like, obviously nobody knows this. And apparently there's an event going on that is set, multiple sources said it was like a Christmas party, which is being December. I can kind of believe it. But, of course, it just says an event. So I can't say it's a Christmas party for sure. So after he dropped off this bag with the bomb in it, they leave, but they come back at like 10:58 with tactical gear on. They then enter from like the back, and that's when they start shooting at people from outside and inside. And so while doing all this, because apparently Tashfeen, apparently she's like helping kill people too. She would go on Facebook, and apparently I was thinking this was like a video. She did this in like a post where she basically declared her loyalty to like the Islamic State. And apparently this is like to an Islamic leader, which is where the motive of terrorism, like later the motive of terrorism came in. Because remember, like 9/11 wasn't that long ago, so people were still kind of iffy about that. So then, of course, 14 people did sadly lose their lives. And then it's reported that 21 people were injured. Tashfeen and Syed were somehow able to escape, but they were caught by police hours later, and both of them were killed in a police shootout. So like I said, 14 people died that day, so I'm going to list them. I'm going to have their picture, so obviously you see what they look like, how old they were, date of birth, were they married, did they have any kids, like that sort of stuff. Oh, and even if that's listed, they'll also have their hobbies listed, if that was publicly available. So then you have Aurora Godnine, who apparently she was 26, and she was a wife and a mother of one, born February 1st, 1989. So then after her, you have Sierra Playborn, who was 28. She had been an employee of the location where the shooting happened at since like January 2013. So like almost, it would have been 3 years the following month because this happened in December. Okay, and then apparently she was born June 13th, 1988. And then you have Yvette Velasco, who was also 27. She was born April 3rd, 1988. You have Tien Nguyen, who was 31. She was a health inspector who was born in Vietnam. Born April 6, 1984. She was said to have supposed to have gotten married like 2017, so like 2 years after this happened. And then it was also said that she wasn't supposed to be there that day, so I guess she wasn't supposed to work that day. But it's suspected, but it was never actually confirmed that she was supposed to be there. She was there for like the holiday party. So like I said, it may have been a Christmas party, but sources did not confirm whether it was a Christmas party going on. You have Michael Wetzel, who apparently was 37. He was a husband and father of 6. He was an employee of the environmental department, and he was born in April 1978. You have Robert Adams, who was 40. He was an environmentalist health specialist. He was a husband and father of 1, and he was born on May 2nd, 1975. So to say that at first, because we're talking about Robert here, he attended San Bernardino Valley College, and then went on to get a Bachelor's of Science from California State University. And it said that his hobbies had included travel, nature, and video games. And sadly, it is said that he was supposed to take his daughter to Disneyland the week after the massacre. So then we also have Larry Daniel Kaufman, who was 42. He was born August 12th, 1973, and he was an employee in a coffee shop in apparently Building 3 of where the attack took place in. We have Shannon Johnson, who was 45. He was an environmental health specialist for 10 years, and he was born March 6, 1970. So it said that he graduated from California State University with a degree in health in 2004. And then I don't know if this was before or after California State University, but I wanted to believe this was before. Apparently he was on a baseball scholarship, and apparently he had graduated from Windsor Academy and attended Middle Georgia Junior College. And then apparently, sadly, on the day of the massacre, it is said that he basically was shielding a coworker named Denise, and apparently his last words before he passed were, "I got you." And Shannon, of course, was declared a hero for this, because he was risking his life to save others. And Denise, in case you're wondering, she did survive. We have, sorry, I'm so sorry if I pronounced this wrong. Badadal, who was 46. She was born on March 8th, 1969. She was a mother of 3, and at 18, apparently she escaped from Iran to escape religious persecution. So when she escaped Iran to originally come to the United States, she went to New York, but eventually moved to California after she met this guy named Arlen. And at the time of the attack, they had like 3, remember I said she was a mother of 3. So they had 3 kids together, and apparently they were ages 10, 12, and 15. You got Harry Bowman, who was born on June 8th, 1969. He was a father of 2. He graduated from Dallas Towns High School and received a bachelor's and a master's from Johns Hopkins University. Afterwards, he would go on to get his PhD from Ohio State University. His hobbies had included hiking, reading, gaming, talking to his daughters, museums, and dancing. You have Juan Espinoza, who was born June 24th, 1965. He apparently was a father to, he was 50, and he was an inspector for the county health department. You have Nicholas Dalantos, who apparently was 53, and he was 52. He was 52, and he was born on October 14th, 1963. You have Damien Maines, who was a father to, born February 2nd, 1957, and he was also an employee of the agency where the shooting took place. And then the final victim was Isaac Amanos. He was born June 29th, 1955 in Eritrea, which is a country in Africa. And apparently he was working there as an environmentalist supervisor. So now that we have all 14 victims out of the way, because I wanted to get their names, it was some of a background on them. So it is said that out of the 14 victims, 12 of them pretty much died right away, whereas Shannon and Bonetta, it's actually said that they apparently both died later on. They apparently had died later on at a makeshift center across the street. So basically trying to get them medical help, and they died before they could, So then, of course, with both parents dead, the child they had together were CPS custody. Apparently a relative, doesn't say who the relative was or what relation it was. They went and got custody of the daughter. They still have custody of the daughter to this day. I don't even know. So then, of course, there has to be an investigation. And at the house, they discovered that they pretty much destroyed all digital evidence so that nothing really could be tied back to them. And that there was like 1,600 rounds of ammunition found in the car along with a pipe bomb. And as you can imagine, this was, of course, declared as an act of terrorism. So then apparently a further search found 4,500 rounds of ammunition and apparently 12 pipe bomb-like devices. And understanding with all these pipe bombs, they're concerned that it's going to go off. Because especially with the pipe bomb that they found in the car. And then it is said that apparently they arrested a third person at the scene. Because, we got 2 people dead. And this third person's running. Are you running because of, you don't want to get shot? Or are you running because, you're involved and you ain't trying to get caught? That's what they were trying to figure out. And never really gave, an update on that third person. So I guess they were later found innocent. And so it doesn't give an exact time. But it said that between 11:46 to, 3:00. This is 11:46 a.m. to 3:06 p.m. She finds out that her son was actually the one. She finds out the shooting, that her son's actually the one that's doing it. So then she finds a map that he used for the attack. And apparently she put it in the shredder, basically destroying evidence. And then she left with the child at 3:41 p.m. So then, of course, like I said, with this being a terrorist investigation, apparently she was supposed to get 20 years. But she somehow got a little plea deal and got no more than 18 months. So like I said, this happened in 2015. She out. So apparently there was a friend that they had named, Syed had named Enrique, and he would call police saying that, that was my friend Syed that did the shooting, and that he actually used my gun to do said shooting. And apparently Enrique admitted that he was suicidal, and he basically admitted himself into UCLA medical center, and he was put on involuntary hold. So between the 6th and the 16th, doesn't say what month or even what year we're in, but I'm assuming we're still in 2016. He gets questioned every single day, and apparently every single day he waives his Miranda rights, so that way he would talk to them. So no lawyer present, just tell you what I know. And he would admit that he and Syed were actually planning to do an attack themselves back in 2012, but apparently they abandoned it. For what reason they abandoned it, it didn't say. And then he would give that it was on the corner of State Route 91 and apparently a community college. And then, of course, the FBI, they go to investigate. So apparently the plan, according to them, was to put bombs in the eastbound lanes of the freeway, and then after that, just start shooting at whoever's driving by. Enrique was supposed to look out for law enforcement, who apparently he was supposed to shoot at once they inevitably arrive. Because, of course, people are going to be calling 911. You out here just shooting at people on the freeway and stuff. So then, of course, like I said, Enrique apparently admitted that Syed had used his gun and one of his guns in the shooting. And apparently he could be charged because apparently all private sales in California by law are supposed to go through a licensed dealer. And obviously they didn't, so he could at least be charged with that. So President Obama, because like I said, 2015, he was still president at the time. He basically came out with a statement saying, don't be quick to say that it was a terrorist attack because we ain't got enough information. And of course, Obama would go visit the victims' families. And apparently, yeah, it's been about almost 8 years since the attack. And so, yeah, that's really all information that I have. Like I said, it's not very well talked about. Of course, sources down below as always. There's more than usual because I have the obituary for like every victim. And like I said, there's like 14. I think I have the obituary for Tashfeen and Syed, but that's only because I need their date of birth. Like, literally no other reason. If I do have it down there. And so anyway, with that being said, definitely know what you think down below. If you know anybody that was involved, if you live in San Bernardino currently, and you remember this case, or you remember the day it happened, like, you worked there, you currently work there, like, is there a memorial there, like, in memory of, because, you know, like, yeah, do you mind letting me know, because, and do y'all still do Christmas parties, because, like I said, the event was said to be a Christmas party, do y'all still do those? And so, yeah, that being said, is security heightened, like, these are things I want to know, and so, like, yeah, like I said, if y'all know anybody involved in this case, whether it be the victims or the perpetrators, always let me know what you think down below. Try to be respectful because of YouTube guidelines. And so with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.